Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, I'm Tasya Rahma and I'm from M.pd class. So, in this video, we will understand about Plato's Philosopher. In 399 BC, in culturally advanced Athens, a relentless grief swept over the city. That year was when a great philosopher named Socrates was executed. This event was not only recorded as black ink in the history of philosophy, but also made all of Socrates' students experience the deepest sorrow. One of those who grieved and became a student was Plato. One was 29 years old when Socrates was convicted. Because of that, the great shock that hit his soul made Plato furious against the Athenian regime. He began to stay away from his family, who were also involved in the government. They finally chose not to get married and to seek the truth. In his journey and continuously, Plato continues to write and argue using his philosophical activities to defend and continue the struggle of Socrates. The verdict for him was the decision of Socrates to leave government because of accusation of having brought in religion and corrupting the morals of the young generation of Athens, and that is an unjust and irresponsible act. In each of his works, Plato shows his amazing absorption in political events and intellectual movements of his time, so that educated readers in almost every age are so attached to his influence. Queen is not the first thinker in which the word philosopher should be embedded. However, he was very conscious about how philosophy should be understood and applied. Everyone who examines Plato's works associates himself with some central doctrine. One of the most well-known central doctrines is its explanation of forms or ideas. For him, the world that is visible to our senses is in some ways flawed and full of errors, but there is a more real and perfect realm which is inhabited by entities called internal forms or ideas. To teach that humans actually exist in two different worlds, namely the world of ideas and the physical world. The physical world, or the place where we live, is only a shadow of the original world, which is eternal. The meaning of the idea referred to by Plato is not an idea like a human idea or a thought. This idea simply does not exist in the human mind. Precisely, ideas or human thoughts that come from the world of ideas. To explain his theory of the world of ideas, Plato created an allegory by saying that life is like being chained in a cave. Humans are forced to see shadows across stone walls without knowing the source of the shadows. The Greek philosophy envisioned an ideal society by re-examining the concepts of justice, truth, and beauty. Plato introduces this passage as an analogy for what it's like to be a philosopher trying to educate society. Most people are not only comfortable with their ignorance, but are hostile to anyone who points out the truth. His real-life photo of Socrates, who was sentenced to death by the Athenian government to disturbing the social order. The Socratic dialogue method. There is another feature of Plato's writings that sets him apart from the great philosophies we know. Nearly 36 books he wrote in the form of dialogue. The form of dialogue he does not know through an introduction to the genre of literary drama. Dialogue is a philosophical discussion among a small number of interlocutors. Many of them can be identified as real historical figures. These features of Plato's works raise important questions about how they should be read and have generated considerable controversy among those who would study his writings, because he himself did not assert anything in his dialogue. The science of Plato is some of the key ideas, along with a series of suggestions and problems about how they are integrated and disseminated. All of the coach work was intended in some way to deliver further work to the reader. According to Cicero, Plato died while writing at the age of 80 in 348 BC. In Michael Hart's work, The 100 Most Influential Figures in History, Plato is included in the 40th order. It could be because Plato did not just teach his thoughts, but he also wrote. Through writing, Plato's thoughts become eternal.